Greetings. We're now having a look at DAX 40, aka German 40. Um, so I'm on the monthly chart, as you guys can see, and we can see that we actually have a very strong level of resistance at around this level or so. And we can also see that these two candlesticks are very much bullish, and we might actually see price head to this level to retest it, right? And that is also because we have this candlestick over here. It is a liquidity candlestick and is carrying a whole lot of liquidity at that point, at that level rather, which needs to be triggered by the market. I'm just gonna mark that resistance level. It is extremely important. Just bear with me. Right. Just also bear in mind that we have at that very same level this candlestick, which is a liquidity candlestick. So there's a whole lot of capital that is sitting at this level, which needs to be grabbed by the market, right? And also just bear in mind that we had a very nice M structure over here with a neckline in more or less the same region. So price heading back to this level would not only be testing the resistance level, but it would also be retesting the neckline of this M structure, right? So it is a very, very, very strong level of resistance, and at that point we might see price moving slightly further down. Anyway, from here I'm just gonna head to the weekly chart. Here we are on the weekly chart. In previous videos I had spoken about the fact that we have a very nice W structure over here with the neckline being over there, right? And I had said that when it comes to W structures, what normally happens is a lot of investors and traders buy on that second leg of the W structure and place their stop losses just below. So we have a whole lot of stop losses that are sitting at this point, and in the future we will see price come back to this level to trigger all of those stop losses. But for now, this level is no longer important, right? This level over here is no longer important at this point in time, and that is because, as you guys can see, we have these rather this series of very strong bullish candles, and it seems at this point in time that we might see the market coming to this level to retest it, right? When the market gets to this level, we will then possibly look at this level over here, and also monitor the behavior at this point. But as I said, we just need to keep in the back of our minds the fact that we have this level over here because it is carrying a whole lot of liquidity, right? Also, because we have this W structure, we might see price actually breaking this level, closing above, and then should that happen, we would wait for price to head back to the neckline to retest it, and we would look for buying opportunities at this point, as the anticipation is for the structure to be completed at around this level over here, right? So this would be the anticipation. Also, at this level we have a liquidity candlestick, which tells us that there's a whole lot of capital that's sitting up there, and the market needs to grab or trigger that capital at one point or another, right? I hope what I'm saying makes sense. Anyway, from here what I'm gonna do is head down to the daily chart. So here we are on the daily chart, right? I'm just gonna add my equidistant lines. Just bear with me while I do so. Let's see. There we go, right? So what do we see on this chart that we should be paying attention to? So due to the fact that we have this level over here, or this trend line with a touch over here, another touch over here, and a third touch seems to be loading, the anticipation is that price will reach this level. That's what many retail traders are anticipating and are waiting for, that price should touch this trend line, and once that happens, we will see many people selling. And that is because as I had previously said in my other video, that when it comes to equidistant channels, right, retail traders have been taught to sell on the third touch of that trend line, right? So that's probably what's going to happen, and it may be a trap. It may be a trap because, as I said, we have this very huge W structure, and the plan may be for price to actually move further up to break this neckline of the W structure, and then yeah, right from there possibly push even further up to that level over there that I spoke about, which is carrying all of that liquidity. Anyway, let's proceed, right? But myself, I won't be just selling just by virtue of having 3 touches on that trend line. Myself, I would be looking for further reasons for why I should be selling, right? I need further confluence, right? And I think that you should look for further reasons as well, right? Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see on this chart that we should be paying attention to? So we also have a very nice W structure over here, right, with the neckline being in this region. Price broke the neckline to the top and then went back to retest the neckline. So we would have looked for buying opportunities at this point. You know what, let me just repeat that because my drawing is not so clear. So what I'm saying is we had a very nice W structure over here, right, with the neckline being in this region. Price, as I said, broke the neckline to the upside and then came down to retest that neckline. We would have looked for buying opportunities at this point, right? And that is because, as I usually say, when we have W structures, ideally would love to see price break to the upside of the W structure and then head back down to retest the neckline of that W structure, and we would look for buying opportunities at this point, as the anticipation is for price to shoot further up, right? Anyway, I'm just gonna add the neckline to that W structure because we just need to, you know, keep it in the back of our mind and make sure that we don't miss anything, right? So yeah, so here we are. So I expect this W structure to be completed at this level, right? I expect that W structure to be completed at that level, and that is also why I'm saying that I won't be selling just by virtue of price touching this trend line. However, having said that, price may still bounce at this point to maybe this point again to retest this W structures neckline, and then from there we might see it push further up, because at that point people will be selling here, as I said, and they would be placing their stop losses just above, which means that should price push to this level, there would be a whole lot of stop losses that are sitting here, which represent liquidity, and it would make sense for price to actually from here push further up to trigger all of those stop losses that are sitting at that level, right? Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see on this chart that we should be paying attention to? I don't see anything further at this point, but let me just also mention that, can you guys see the gap that was here has now been filled, so we can now disregard that gap, right? Anyway, let's head down to the H4 chart. Let's see, on the H4 chart I'm just going to fix my equidistant lines, or line rather. There we go. Yeah, so the next thing that I'm going to do on this particular chart is add my channel, my H4 channel, that is. Let's see. There we go. There goes our H4 channel. So on this H4 chart, let me just make it bigger. What do we see on this H4 chart that we should be paying attention to? On this H4 chart, we have an overextended W structure at this level, with the neckline being here somewhat. Price broke the neckline to the upside, and we saw it somewhat testing that neckline, right? Yes, it closed below, but we saw it pushing further up again, right? I think it would have been risky to look for buying opportunities at this point because price pushed actually much further down than we would have liked it to, right? Nonetheless, that's the neckline of that W structure, and it confirms that we should be indeed looking for buying opportunities, right? So at this point in time, I expect price to actually let me just make this smaller. I expect price at this point in time to test that trend line, and from there we'll see what happens next. I think we'll monitor once price gets to that point and see what it does, and the goal is to react based on what price does, and not so much to try to guess, or predict where price will go, right? So that is it, guys, and as far as my analysis goes of DE40, aka German 40. As I said, at this point in time, expect price to move further up to test that trend line. And as I said, a lot of people will be selling. They'll be selling, but it could also be a trap. Just to go back to the daily chart, it could also be a trap because, as I had said, we have this very huge W structure, and the anticipation is for price to actually close above this neckline and then head back to the neckline to retest it, and from there push further up. Should this happen, our buying opportunity should be at around this point, or we should be looking for buying opportunities at around this point once the neckline has been broken and price rather has headed back to it to retest it. And yeah, we would look for buying opportunities at this point, right? As the anticipation is for price to move to at least this level over here, right? So that is it in as far as my analysis goes of German 40. Peace out.